today's video, I will be predicting UFC 329, which is coming up this weekend. And yeah, let's get started off with the prelim opener of Luke Riley vs Kamaka III. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Luke Riley for this fight. I think he's way better than Kamaka. Luke Riley coming off a big win over Michael Aswell Jr. Knocked out Bogdan Grad last year in November. Kamaka just really hasn't fought anybody really good. He's fought Dakota Hoop, which he won. But yeah, I think Luke Riley just levels above him. And yeah, I think Luke Riley's going to school him for 3 rounds. Maybe even get a finish in the second round. So yeah, I think Luke Riley's going to win this one. Pretty dominantly. Then we go up the card. Cody Garbrandt versus Adrian Yanez. Of course, Cody Garbrandt, a former champion. I'm coming up against Adrian Yanez. I think for this fight, I'm going to pick Adrian Yanez. Just because Cody's out of his prime. Loads of people say, oh, Cody Garbrandt was so good in his prime. But if you think about it, his only good fight was against Dominic Cruz, which was a 3-2 fight, 48-47. And even then, he thinks he's tough because he got a little tattoo over his eye, and I think Adrian Yanez is going to finish him. Cody Garbrandt literally lost his last fight. If we see on the fight wise, except from the groin shots. And yeah, I think Adrian Yanez is maybe too fast, too sharp for him. So I'm going to pick Adrian Yanez, and then for the debut of Gable Stevenson, the American Olympian wrestler, versus Alicia Ellison. Yeah, I mean the odds really say it. I'm picking Gable Stevenson to win this by submission in the second round. I just think Alicia Ellison is not a really good fighter. He's 5-2. I think he's on like a losing streak. I think he's lost his last fight. And Gable Stevenson, he's been training with John Jones, and I think he can use his wrestling to be really good and make a really good run in the heavyweight division. The heavyweight division is really pretty stale right now. So I think Gable Stevenson is a really good addition to the heavyweight division. And yeah, I think it's gonna maul Alicia Ellison. Alicia Ellison's pretty had like one fight in the UFC and he's lost it, I think. So I think Gable Stevenson's gonna win this fight. Pretty easily. Probably gonna get a submission in the second or third round, or he's gonna wrestle him for the whole 3 rounds. And then for Robert Whittaker, moving up to light heavyweight, and it takes on Nikita Krylov. I'm gonna pick Robert Whittaker. I think he's gonna do it. Of course, without the extra weight cut, I think he'll be very good. Nikita Krylov is like 1-2 in his last fight. The last winner was against Modestas Bukauskas, and I think Whittaker's gonna be too good for him. I think Whittaker moving up a weight class was very good. I've seen some pictures of him on the weigh-ins. He looks very better. His body wise, he looks very more hydrated than he used to look at 185. Yeah, I think he's gonna win against Nikita Krylov, probably a 3-round decision. Nikita Krylov's lost a few times. He's lost to Dominic Reyes, Bogdan Grad. Yeah, I think he's gonna lose this fight, and I think Rob Whittaker's gonna win. So yeah, I have Robert Whittaker winning that fight. And then for the main card opener, King Green versus Terrence McKinney. A great fight first of all. Two of the YNs, King Green, Terrence McKinney. I'm actually gonna pick King Green for this fight. I just think I think if King Green can't get past the first round against Terrence McKinney, then yeah, I think he'll win that fight. But in that first minute, he needs to be careful of McKinney. McKinney's like all of his finishes has been in the first minute. Yeah, I think King Green should really be careful. But if he survives the first round, the first minute, I think he's gonna school him. We've seen McKinney lose to, Chris Duncan. No, not Chris Duncan. Grant Dawson. I'm sorry. And King Green's on a 3 fight winning streak. You know, he's back. You know, after losing to Mauricio Huffy, who's one of the best lightweights in the world. He's only been like a 2 fight winning streak. You know, he beat Espan Ribovic, beat um Lance Gibson, whatever his name was, and he just beat Jeremy Stevens in May. And I think he has and I think he has the powers to win against Terrence McKinney. And then you've seen the odds right here. It's kind of a close odds, but they're in favor of King Green, and I think King Green's gonna win. Honestly, I think he's gonna mold him. I think he'll knock him out in the second round for King Green. You know, we've seen McKinney in very bad situations. You know, against Grant Dawson, against Ribovic, I think, who King Green beat. So yeah, I'm picking King Green for this fight. And then moving up the card, oh boy, this card is stacked. The Brandon Royval versus Lorna Kavanagh. Um, yeah, I'm picking Lorna Kavanagh. I think Royval's just out of his prime right now. You know, he's on a 2 fight losing streak, been knocked out back to back. I think Lorna Kavanagh is one of the best in the world. You know, from England, a new flyweight prospect. You know, just beat Brandon Moreno in February. The 5 rounds dominated him, and yeah, I think he's gonna school Brandon Royval. You know, I think I know Lorna Kavanagh gasses out a lot, but since it's a 3 round fight, I think he'll be able to put the pace on Brandon Royval, and yeah, I think he's gonna win. We've seen the odds here -220, -180. It's pretty favorable for Lorna Kavanagh, and I think he's gonna win. You know, we've seen Brandon Royval lose against Joshua Van, lose against Manel Kape. He also lost against Pantoja, you know, and yeah, I think he's gonna lose again. You know, it's kind of the thing for Royval. You know, say if he loses this fight, he's probably gonna have to. He's gonna be in a bad career spot. So this is it for Brandon Royval. But for Lorna Kavanagh, it could be anything. So yeah, I think Lorna Kavanagh's gonna win this one. I think he's gonna knock him on this first or second round, and then up the card, Corey Sandhagen versus Mario Bautista. The rematch, you know, the first fought, I think it's 2019, where Corey Sandhagen got the finish over Mario Bautista. But I'm not taking it away from that fight. But honestly, I think Corey Sandhagen is gonna win this one over 3 rounds. I've seen loads of people, especially on YouTube, picking Mario Bautista to win this fight. I think it's very disrespectful to Corey Sandhagen. Speaking of, Corey Sandhagen has literally lost only to the best people. You know, he only lost to Peter Yan, who's the champion. Robert Wallace really is probably going to be fighting for the title next. You know, against Umar the Magomedov, the best contender in the bantamweight division. So yeah, I'm picking Corey Sandhagen to get over the 3 rounds. You know, we've seen Mario Bautista lose against Umar Nurmagomedov. Lose against, he went to a close fight with Jose Aldo, which I thought he lost. And I think Corey's improved a lot. You know, his morale fight was really a bad performance. It wasn't really a bad performance. You know, he had a few rounds in the bag, but yeah, of course, I think he winning this one. I think it'd be too much for Mario Bautista. You know, he missing the striking. You know, and I think he had to do it over a few rounds. So yeah, and then for the co-main event, Denis versus Paddy Pimblett. You know, Paddy Pimblett coming off that humiliating loss against Justin Gaethje at UFC 324, and Denis going off that huge winner against Dan Hooker at UFC 325. And honestly, for this fight, if you see the odds, it's in favor of Benoit Saint Denis. But honestly, I'm gonna go with Paddy Pimblett. I think it's really good style. I think it's really good stylistic match for Paddy Pimblett. You know, if we've seen in the Dan Hooker fight for Benoit Saint Denis, he hates them body shots. You know, in the first round, he was hit with them body tips that Dan Hooker did, and I think Dan Hooker really fumbled that fight. And yeah, we've seen Benoit lose before. You know, he lost to Dustin Poirier. He lost to Moicano. He got mauled by Moicano, made him quit. Actually, it was a doctor stoppage, but yeah, Moicano mauled him. And I think Paddy has experience. You know, he's been 5 rounds, I know Benoit and he's been 5 rounds as well. Actually, well, I don't think he hasn't. But yeah, of course he's been a fight with Dustin Poirier, but I think the Pimblett experience with Gagey is more better. And I think for Pimblett, that loss against Gagey has really aged a lot because he thinks he's the better than Ilya to Poirier did. But anyway, yeah, I think it'd be really good. Even if it goes to the ground, I think Paddy has a really good submission game. You know, we've seen him submit King Green, beat Michael Chandler on the bottom, visit from on the ground. You know, he has really good submissions, and I think Benoit Saint-Denis really struggles with that. And even in the striking, I think Benoit Saint-Denis could win the striking, but yeah, you never know. So I think Paddy Pim's gonna get it done. I think he's gonna get a submission in the third round. I think he'd be too good for Benoit Saint-Denis. You know, we've seen him go with 5 rounds against Justin Gage, so that makes me think Paddy Pim's gonna be Benoit Saint-Denis. And yeah, so I'm picking Paddy Pimblett. And then for the main event, Conor McGregor vs Max Holloway 2. There's one narrative that's been going out is that how will Max look at 170? You know, of course he's cutting less weight. You know, and I think he's gonna be having that more fat on him. And you know, we've seen Conor McGregor fight at 170 before. You know, against his last win was against Conor. Not. I'm so sorry. Donald Cabo Cerrone, which was a pretty shit fighter. You know, he's fought at 170 before. You know, he fought against Nate Diaz. He got submitted against Nate Diaz, but he also won against Nate Diaz. And just because of that, I'm picking Holloway to get it done by the 4th round TKO. I just think after you've been out for so long, you know, last 5 years ago he broke his leg against Dustin Poirier, and since then Holloway's been active. You know, he's added guys like Gagey, the Korean Zombie, Dustin Poirier to his resume, Yair Rodriguez. You know, and Holloway's just gonna be too fast and too sharp for him. You know, and I could see McGregor winning it. I could see a well where McGregor just slashes him in the first round. And yeah, I think when it gets to later rounds, the round 4, round 5, you know, McGregor's gonna gas, and we're gonna see the effects of that 5 year layoff. And I think Holloway with that experience, you know, I think he's gonna TKO him in the 4th round. I think he'll only get a big shot. You know, McGregor will be tired. He'll be backing up against the cage, and I think he's gonna land a few big shots, and then McGregor's gonna go down, and they're gonna stop the fight. And you know, in their first fight, they did wrestle a bit, but I don't think Conor's gonna wrestle at all. And yeah, I'm gonna pick Holloway by destruction. You know, I do see Conor winning around based on what other people are saying, but yeah, I think Holloway's gonna win this one pretty easily. And yeah, so yeah, please like and subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below. It's gonna be one of the greatest cards of all time. And on that, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.